Hello, my fellow deviants. My name is Jennifer.
And I'm Jenna.
And welcome to eSpot.
But before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon to get notified every time we post something new.
Okay, and with that, let's get started.
So there's a huge WTF moment that just hit the news. Hasbro, the popular toy company, has dropped a $4.1 billion on Entertainment One, which means they now have the entire Death Row catalog in their possession.
Isn't that just so left field, though? The creators of Mr. Potato Head and even Monopoly that have the catalog that consists of records from Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Tupac, and many others with records that have sold millions. But here's one better for you. It seems like the Hasbro CEO isn't entirely aware of everything that he's acquired with the purchase of Entertainment One. A quote from the CEO himself says, "The acquisition of E1 adds beloved story-led global family brands that deliver strong operating returns to Hasbro's portfolio and provides a pipeline of brand new creation, driven by family-oriented storytelling."
All I can say is, I cannot wait for the Snoop Dogg Peppa Pig collab. Speaking of music, Slipknot scored their third #1 album on Billboard chart with We Are Not Your Kind. Sold 118,000 equivalent album units in the US on its first week of release. And of that, 102,000 were in-album sales. We Are Not Your Kind sales were boosted by a concert ticket album sale redemption offer with Slipknot tour, which kicked off late last month.
The band singer Corey Taylor says that this new album is probably the furthest they've pushed the boundaries of creativity and experimentation while also not losing their identity. He also said in another interview that some of the songs were written while he was forced to figure out who he was following his recent divorce without relapsing into substance abuse. The effort was well worth it, though, as they earned #1 spot on the charts. Congratulations, Slipknot.
I'm sure everyone watching has heard the popular custody battle happening right now between Sony and Disney over the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
And a confusing custody battle as it is because no one really knows whose side to take.
Well, not to worry, because everyone's favorite walking spoiler, Tom Holland, has assured us that he will be back at least one more time to play Peter Parker. At the Keystone Comic-Con in Philadelphia, the Spider-Man actor confirmed that there is likely to be at least one more Spidey movie with him in the lead role.
And thank goodness for that, because I was getting really concerned.
Holland pointed out that he and the creative team have already pitched a third Spider-Man movie. Far From Home writers Chris McKenna and Eric Summers will return for the third movie and will apparently be taking an out-of-the-box approach for the concept for it. And it's sounding right now, Tom Holland looks to be sticking with Sony as their Spider-Man, but there's not much more information to completely put us fans at ease.
So let me just say, thank goodness for content creators on YouTube. A new trailer of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker was revealed at Disney's D23 Expo and later made its way online. YouTuber Nathan Rojas coupled with this new footage with the previous release trailer it initially hit the web after debuting at Star Wars Celebration in April. And this gives us a comprehensive look at everything we have from the upcoming inclusion to the trilogy.
The trailer starts with Rey flipping over what is presumably Kylo Ren's piloting his new TIE fighter, and soon transitions into Rey and Kylo Ren fighting and leads into Dark Rey being revealed. And it was quite spectacular. Director J.J. Abrams and Lucasfilms are keeping a tight lid on the movie's secrets, but we know for sure that this movie will conclude the Skywalker saga.
The future of Star Wars on the big screen will belong in part to David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who also is the duo behind Game of Thrones. They're set to kick off the new trilogy, set totally apart from the story we're familiar with, on December 2022, which I know we've talked about before on this show. But for both 2019 and 2022, it's a beautiful way to end the year with a fantastic Star Wars movie, if I do say so myself.
After a highly public studio closure, Telltale Games is back in the business of making video games. A number of industry executives purchased the studio with the rights to Telltale's key assets, trademarks, technology, and select intellectual properties. They're looking to re-release select games from the studio's back catalog alongside with new titles based on Telltale's best-selling brands. But what exactly does that mean?
Well, I'd be happy to tell you. Unfortunately, that does not mean that titles like Batman, The Walking Dead, or Stranger Things, since those licenses have reverted back to their original owners. But others like Guardians of the Galaxy, Sam & Max, or Tales from the Borderlands could be reissued in bundles of back catalog titles.
And for the last one specifically, it'll be a good release seeing as Borderlands 3 is set to launch soon.
So it was very expected that WoW's Classic release was going to be incredibly popular. But WoW's Classic went live on Tuesday, and it is so popular that the realms are overcrowded and players are stuck having to wait in hour-long queues just to get on the servers.
But the wait in line doesn't stop at login, right?
Correct. WoW players who have managed to get in have been posting shots on Twitter and Reddit showing the long queues currently being formed in-game to finish quests. And you should seriously see those lines if you haven't experienced them firsthand yet. Looks like the line to Haggard's Magical Creatures motorbike adventure when it first opened.
The sum of WoW Classic is to wait in line, just to wait in line again. Luckily, players are taking humor in this frustrating situation, posting on Twitter and Reddit with hilarious captions to accompany the queue photos.
And speaking of classics, here's something that I'm incredibly excited about. The classic SNES and Genesis games, Aladdin and The Lion King, are going to be released in an HD remaster, and I can't express how excited I am. It's said that they're released this fall on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch.
Both games will be bundled into one HD remaster collection and will be playable in the original 1080p resolutions. Not only that, but both the original Super Nintendo and Genesis soundtracks will be included as well as additional features. Talk about nostalgia.
So what you're saying is that maybe I can beat it this time?
It comes at a perfect time too, with the recent releases of the live-action films for both The Lion King and Aladdin.
And we'd like to end off our episode with something that I feel is very important to talk about.
I definitely agree with the importance of this. With the Me Too movement, women have felt support and gained confidence in coming out with sexual assault in various professions and walks of life. Most recently, women in the video game industry have begun speaking up.
A female indie developer opened the floor, courageously speaking about her own awful experience while in the industry. But soon after, more and more women grew the courage to speak up as well, including multiple other developers. And unfortunately, part of all this in all these cases is that the victims described scenarios where they felt unable to or were even explicitly told not to publicly speak about the situation because indie development is a relatively small world and they feared professional backlash. One developer did mention in her tweet that she did speak up before and had received little reaction.
It is awful that this would happen at all. But if any of you viewers experience this yourself, don't be afraid to speak up. This behavior leading to these women speaking up shouldn't be happening, and it needs to be known so that it can be stopped.
On that note, we do hope that you enjoyed this episode of eSpot.
And don't forget to check out our other amazing content on the Devious channel and the website.
Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, stay devious.